Hello there, I'm Scotty. You're not. Welcome back to Halloween Horror Month. And we are on our next franchise, the Scary Movie franchise. I've waited quite a while to review these. I wanted to wait for October to do these. I almost did them earlier because I did another team movie and I wanted to cover more spoof movies, more parodies, and I had like a whole bunch down there. You know, I have like a date movie, epic movie, Meet the Spartans, disaster movie, dance flick, super fast superhero movie. Those ones. Vampire Suck is somewhere, but you know, I want to do those, but I want to do scary movie first. The scary movie franchise first. Uh, I almost did it earlier, but here I am. I'm doing this now, and this was, well, it wasn't the first spoof to do things. You know, another teen movie did it first, in my opinion. I think maybe not. Maybe it came out the same year, didn't it? Was it the next year? I don't know, but I think this was the first one that really got notoriety. After this, there would be Shriek If You Know What I Did Last Friday the 13th, which was basically the same film. It parodied both Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer, but in a different way. It was a little bit different. It had Tom Arnold in it for some reason. It was basically doing what this movie did, but not as well. Now, I'll be honest, this was probably the one I watched the least growing up. The second one was on TV a lot. The third and third one was on TV too. I bought the fourth one. I specifically remember one time my cousins came up and we rented the third one because that's when they started being PG-13. Yeah, the first two were rated R and both directed by Keenen Ivory Wayans. The next two were turned PG-13 and both directed by David Zucker. And then it took forever till 2015 to get the fifth one, which was directed by someone else and is a completely different thing, unconnected, but also featuring actors that were in previous installments like Simon Rex and Charlie Sheen. We're playing different characters. Charlie Sheen plays himself. Anyway, in this film, it's a spoof. Okay? Now again, a lot of spoofs I can't go, like the future spoofs, I'll probably say I can go through every single spoof, but here, it's straightforward. It is specifically Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer mixed together with some little spoofs in there, like there's a Matrix thing and the Blair Witch Project spoof, stuff like that, you know. And some jokes that were topics at the time, such as students having sex with teachers. There's a little thing, you know. That's always an ongoing thing because you hear about that a lot, I guess. I don't know. You know. It happens. I don't know why. But here, we start out with the opening of Scream. Only it's Drew Decker is her character name, and she's played by Carmen Electra. And it's basically the run around. You got your boyfriend, but it's some guy dressed like Prince. And then you do the run around, stabs her. And I always laugh. I don't know why it makes me laugh when he stabs her and when he pulls the knife out. There's a breast implant on the friggin' knife. I don't know why, but it makes me laugh my ass off. It's just the way he does that. Can't even see his face, but you know. The voice, okay, so right away the voice throws me off because it's not the voice of Roger L. Jackson or even the one from the TV series. Some guy trying to do a Roger L. Jackson impersonation is not good. I think they know that, but you know. So anyway, this Drew Barrymore replacement is not killed by being gutted and hung, inside out on a tree. She gets hit by her dad's car because he's getting head from the mom. And that's how it starts. Scary Movie. Which was the original title for Scream. Now, I know you probably know that, but if I didn't mention it, somebody probably would say, I need to know that this was it. Yes, I know. And so we start verbatim with the opening scene of Scream, right? Now we're going, it's Cindy Campbell, you know, because we got to parody the name Sydney, so Cindy is close enough, and Campbell because Neve Campbell. She's played and will be played in the first 4 films by Anna Faris. Now, they didn't have to keep the same characters going through most of these films, but for the first 4 films, 2 characters keep coming back. Although one of them dies in every single one of the films, so I don't know why she keeps coming back. But anyway, we meet her boyfriend, Bobby Prince, who is an amalgamation. So, Cindy is an amalgamation of Neve Campbell and Jennifer Love Hewitt. That's what they are. Bobby is an amalgamation of Billy Loomis from Scream and Ray from I Know What You Did Last Summer. That's his, and we act out the scene of, he's coming in, he wants to get laid, he talks about The Exorcist, she makes the joke. This is about the time I threw up everywhere and masturbated with a crucifix. He goes, no, it was made for TV, all the good stuff was edited out. And they start to get hot and heavy, and in the background you hear the song, I don't want to wait for our lives to be over. I still say that the gag in Urban Legend was funnier, where Joshua Jackson turns the music on and it starts playing, oh God no, and turns it off. But during this song, James Vanderbeek pops up in the window and he's like, oh, wrong set, and pops back down. I get a chuckle out of that. There is comedy that goes too far, like, the whole thing about how she won't have sex. Well, here they go a little bit farther and saying she has like a electric fence on it, which when they parody the sex scene that they have later, that's just gone, and she now has a giant bush. I don't know. I can't run with these jokes. So the next day, we meet the other characters, right? We meet Brenda, who is supposed to be Brandy's character from I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Basically, but she's Cindy's best friend, but she's not Tatum, because there's Buffy Gilmore, who is supposed to be an amalgamation of Tatum and Helen. Tatum from Scream and Helen from I Know What You Did Last Summer. Even having the first name Buffy. Yeah, that wasn't an accident. Because Sarah Michelle Gellar played Helen in Scream. And she's the slut, of course, which leads to some continuity errors. Because there's a continuity issue, okay, that gets me. But these are the first 3 characters we meet, and then we cut to the fountain scene. We also meet Shorty with Brenda Meeks. But she's not the parody of the sister from Scream, because that came out earlier this year. Although they do somehow parody the Rules video at the end of this film, the one that was in Scream 3. So somebody had to watch Scream 3 and say, hey, we need to record that, put that at the end. It does sort of parody the Rules thing in Scream, but the way they set it up, like it's the videotape, like from Scream 3, that's very close. Very close. But, so everyone there except for Bobby. We meet the other characters. We meet Ray, played by Shawn Wayans. Oh, I should mention that Brenda Meeks is played by, I always forget her name. Is it Regina King? Or Regina Hall. Regina Hall. I always get it confused. Regina Hall. And Ray is her boyfriend, played by Shawn Wayans. And then Shorty's played by Marlon Wayans. And then, of course, you have Buffy, who is played by Shannon Elizabeth. And then you have Greg, played by Lachlan Monroe. And then you add Bobby, played by John Abrams. For some reason, they have Bobby being a trailer park trash, lives in a trailer right next to the school. I don't know where that's from. I don't know. And if you're counting, wait, there's one too many people here. Yes, because we have to not only parody Scream, but I Know What You Did Last Summer. And so, because Shorty is the Randy equivalent, he can't be the Ryan Phillippe character. By the way, Greg's last name is Phillippe. Subtle. Yes, and so they reminisce about the time they killed that guy, which is verbatim a recreation of the I Know What You Did Last Summer thing, only it's a little bit more different where they're making out. Ray and Brenda are making out. Greg and Buffy are making out. They do a panty thing. I don't know why they do a panty joke. I don't know. But they do a panty joke where Greg pulls off Buffy's panties and they're all like nice and silk. But then when Ray pulls off Brenda, she's wearing granny panties. She's like, well, it's laundry day. And then they don't do anything. Like, why pull off a girl's panties? You're not going to do anything down there. That just shows it was just for the joke because, hey, put some music on. And then Ray gives him a tape that starts playing It's a Raining Man, which is an in-joke to In Living Color. Because they had that Men on Film, hated it, the Men on Film sketch. With that was the theme song to the Men on Film sketch. I'm calling that an in-joke to In Living Color. I'm just saying. And they're not, he and Marlon are the only In Living Color characters on here. Actors on here. Kelly Caulfield Park makes an appearance as the teacher, the one aforementioned teacher who has sex with the student. They don't show it, but it's like she has a baby, she's breastfeeding, say, hey, you go to your daddy. And it's a teenager in the front row. I don't know. That scene is to directly parody Halloween. And I love this parody because you have Cindy sitting there and she looks out the window and she sees the killer going like this. And then as she looks away, he sneaks behind the tree. You see him sneak behind the tree and then she looks again. I'm like, oh, so that's what Michael does. He just sneaks behind the tree. It's not like he goes like this. No, he's like that. I like that parody. And then she reads a note that says, I know what you did last Halloween. I never mentioned it's Halloween here. I don't know. But she has a flashback of her and Bobby having a picnic and he's showing a hot dog in her mouth. And when she comes back, there's another note that says, no, bitch, I meant the guy you killed. By the way, back to the flashback of the guy that they killed. It's different, like I said, because Bobby tries to get Cindy to go down on him, and she doesn't want to, but then Greg slips up, he hits his head, he ends up stepping on her, and she ends up going down, which later she says, I've never done that before. I'm like, dude, well, maybe not consensual, but you accidentally did it to him, because he's going, driving, and then it hitting this guy, who's still alive. I don't know why it cracks me up when Buffy grabs the boot and goes, we hit a boot! But even funnier is when someone yells out, where's the foot? I don't know why. Where's the foot? I don't know why that makes me laugh, but it does. Oh, I don't know. The second one was always my favorite, but I have fun with this one. You know, maybe it'll be different, but get strong hand. I've always loved the second one more than this one, but we'll see. But yeah, so where's the foot? I'm sorry, y'all. Whew. Come on, Scotty, get your composure. Not anymore. All right, that's enough. You're pushing your luck, Scoob. Okay, so. So, they do the thing, they throw the guy, again, comedy goes a little too much, where he's basically beating up Cindy at this point, and they agree to take it to the grave. Which makes no sense, because later, Buffy says, well, because it's revealed that Doofy, who is our Dewey substitute, and still Buffy's brother, knows about the guy they hit. And she's like, well, he overheard me and Greg talking about it. I'm like, wait, I thought it was we don't say a word, we take it to the grave. He beat the hell out of Cindy to get that through her head. Why are they talking about it? I don't know. So, Now we have to do the scene where she talks to the principal. So we get the sheriff, played by Kurt Fuller, the great Kurt Fuller, from Ghostbusters 2, and I know from Psych. He's Woody in Psych. He's great. He is great when he gets to play stupid roles. Like when they try to make him serious, playing Jack Niedermeyer in Ghostbusters 2, for me, it doesn't work. He's just playing a dick. When he gets to play stupid, dumb, fun characters like the sheriff here or Woody, he excels in that. Even to a point that his character in Van Wilder freshman year is still fun to watch because he knows what kind of character it is. He's trying to be an asshole, but he's also stupid. And it works. When he's playing these dumb kind of characters, it works. And it works really well here. When he comes in, he's like, how you doing, Cindy, I'm fine. What about you? Tired. Get some gas. Boy on the ass the size of, So, by the way, the principal is played by David L. Lander, who's known for playing Squiggy on Laverne and Shirley. And I think he's just Squiggy here. And he's doing the voice. And he's called Principal Squigman. So, I think it's supposed to be the same character. I don't know. We're also introduced to, they briefly mentioned Cindy's mom. Old dad. Oh, you mean old dad. Yeah. But that's about as much as they mentioned. By the way, her father's played by Rick Ducommun. He seemed like Brett Blank and other things. Yeah, it's much kind of like this. He was also on Wayans Brothers. There's a connection there. He was the producer for Everybody Loves Everybody, which is the show that Marlon was on. I need to talk about more Wayans Brothers on this channel. We'll get to it because they mention it. They do mention it, and I do agree. Because, okay. Let's just keep going. So we go from that and reenact the, I'm trying to think. Do we go to Cindy's house first? Because I think that's what we do, right? The killer shows up. The dad's out of town. Much like in Scream. Or supposedly. And then she's throwing stuff down the stairs. Big white-ass stairs. Because you got to do the stunt. Her grandma's there. And by the way, her grandma's thrown down. But later, when the piano comes down and it hits the grandma, it's obviously a stuntman in an old lady suit. I'm just saying. I'm like, that's a man. That's not the first time to be a man dressed as a woman. Okay, let's talk about this now. In these kinds of movies, you're going to get a joke that doesn't work. It's the same joke from the Brady Bunch movies that also didn't work. Well, you had RuPaul, a well-known drag queen, playing a character in that one. But this one, they straight up go for the jugular here with a female bodybuilder who acts. They do the nuts hanging out of the dress gag. It just doesn't work. So the first character to go is Greg, because he is unnecessary for the rest of the film because he's only there to be a Ryan Phillippe substitute. And once we see the flashback, he's not really needed. He's killed the same way Ryan Phillippe is, but they play it up as a joke. Buffy is trying to become... In this version, she hasn't become the pageant queen yet, so she's going to win the pageant. So she wants to do a dramatic reading, but as she goes to do it, Greg is getting killed. So they think she's doing some kind of bit, and when she runs off to help him, they say she's won, so she runs back because she's vain. Now, okay, so here's what I want to point out. They do the thing from last summer where the killer comes in and they mess with him in the locker room. Leave a photograph picture of someone with a tiny dick, implied to be him, and he freaks out, right? He goes in, and he shows everybody at the fountain. Everybody laughs at it, including Buffy. Shouldn't she already know what it looks like? Right? It's implied they've already been together. So why is she laughing at... I know, I'm thinking too hard for a spoof, but whoever wrote this should have thought, wait, Buffy shouldn't be laughing at this. She would already know what it looks like. Logic. You gotta have some kind of logic here. These are when the spoofs were trying to be somewhat grounded, and I think this just... we gotta have everybody laugh at it. Doesn't make any sense. She would already know what it looks like. It just bugs me a little bit. It just bugs me. Okay? It bugs me. Anyway, Greg is killed, and they can't find him. And so... I already know, like, if you're trying to put together who the killer is, right? And you're trying to think, are they going to go the route of Scream? Well, we already see a killer behind him cleaning up the mess, which is another, kind of fourth wall breaking thing where it's like, well, how did they clean the mess up so much? Even no trace, and you got him with a mop. It's like, oh, well, Bobby can't be the killer, or at least he's not one of the killers. There is the run-in thing. I don't think it's happening. I think it happens now. We start doing the Scream thing. So it happens now. And funny thing is, when Doofy opens the door and they do the thing, it's me, Thinned. By the way, Doofy is mentally handicapped. He is, special needs. And it's implied he's still in school because they say, you can go back to special ed. I'm like, wait, he's not really a cop? His badge looks like a piece of cheese. I don't know. I do laugh at the line because two cops are talking about how one of the cops is talking about how he nailed the hookers that were in there. He wore a condom. He's like, hey, smell this. What is that? That's how you become a man. He's like, here. Oh, what's that? My ass. I don't know why, but that makes me laugh. I like the stupid shit. But, yeah, there's also Gail Hailstorm, and her cameraman who's just named Kenny. And their claim to fame in this is not just, she basically had sex with a teenager. Again, promoting the good stuff. But also, he starts to drool, and she's like, oh, is that drool? He's like, yeah, I forgot to swallow. She's like, I'll never forget. And later at the press conference where she's asking questions, he's like, hi, Gail. Gail swallows. And it's like, okay. Next to go is Buffy. And this, again, I think the comedy goes a little too far. They're playing up, okay, so they kind of split Tatum's kill in half here, where, like, oh, you want to play Psycho Killer. Stabbing. Oh, this is where we're supposed to bleed, and she just keeps going with it. Even after they decapitates her, she's like, oh, look at my bloody severed head. Ah! And he's like, fucking bitch won't shut up. Throws her in the garbage. I don't know. There are tangents. They go on side tangents. There's just like, what are we doing here? Like, Shorty's thing, all right? They do the, what gag from the commercials, and that's funny. That was funny back in the day, but they do it in here, What are you doing? Nothing. Just chilling. Killing. I don't know. Then they do the Scream 2 opening gag. This time it's Brenda and Ray going to... Brenda doesn't do much, I just realized. Anyway, they go to the movie theater. It happens just the way it happens, Ray goes into the bathroom. Instead of getting a knife through his head, it's a penis. Because Ray's running joke is that he's secretly gay, but won't admit it. That's his running joke, and it goes into the next one, too. Which is going to be an issue when I talk about the finale of this film. I do have an issue. I've always had an issue with the end of this movie. Maybe that's why I don't like it as much as the second one. Because it's, I don't know. And the deleted ending from the second one, I think is interesting. I'm going to rewatch it, but Anyway. So, sorry. So, Ray gets stabbed with a penis to the head. I don't know. And he's down for the count. He's not dead, but he's down for the count. And then they do the thing where the killer comes in. She's yapping about the movie. Watching Shakespeare in Love. She calls it Shakespeare in Love. Shakespeare in Love. I remember that being a big thing back in the day. I heard a lot about it. Gwyneth Paltrow, Joseph Fiennes. I've never seen it, but So I need a drink. Where's my shirt? Anyway, so she gets stabbed by everybody in the theater instead of. I do laugh. He goes to kill her. Someone, give me that, and stabs her. Everybody just keep. This is for ruining the fugitive, and yeah, everything. And she dies. And everybody's just like, okay. And the killer's even like, let's watch the movie. You know, that does cause issues. It's supposed to be the same killer. However, maybe it doesn't. Well, no, there is a killer there. Never mind. Because we cut to the party. By the way, the party in this movie is at Cindy's house instead of Ray's house, but Cindy's house. And we get the other half of the Tatum kill with some fat chick. It's the Melissa, the woman who played Tracy Turnblad on Broadway, the one I don't like because she's so full of herself. She gets killed here. She's even like, I'm just a bit part, or whatever, a day player. And she tries to escape through the thing, and even the killer's like, she gets stuck, she goes up, but she's so fat, the whole thing falls on her, and she dies. We get the sex scene between Cindy and Bobby, and it's stupid. Like, I don't know. This whole thing is just, it goes on for far too long than the sex scene. Like, when he's trying to push her head down, she's like, I don't know if I'm ready yet. And he's like, come on, she's like a Tootsie Pop. Don't say that. So she bites it. Here's the thing. She bites it. And then just continue. Do you know how sensitive that part of the male body is? There's no way he's continuing. No way. It is sensitive. No way. Depending on how hard she bit it, though. But, I don't know. You hear a crunch, so it can't be that light. I'm just saying. No teeth. Anyway. So they get going. He's like, here, let me do you. So bats fly out because virgin. And then when pulls the panties down, big bush comes out. He takes a chainsaw to it. Where you got the chainsaw, I don't know. And then they do it, but of course she's got the bra on because no nudity for Anna Faris. That's fine. And they do the joke they always do in these kind of movies where a big gusher comes out. Like it's ever like that. But it comes out, she goes through the ceiling, and then the very next scene, they're getting dressed. I'm like, what? Who cleaned that up? During this, though, they cut to Shorty and his gang getting high, and the killer shows up. And they get high using a fish tank bong. I don't know if that would work. I'm no expert on that. But then they start doing rap battles, and I do love this cut, this edit, because he gets close in on the killer, and he's rapping, he's going like this, and you hear slicing, but you can't really see anything. And then the camera moves back, and everybody but Shorty is dead. And the killer, of course. He's like, oh shit, son. That was the illest. He says it like this, and I don't know if it was on purpose. Like, that's the illest raps I ever seen. You mean heard, Shorty? I know Shorty's supposed to be illiterate, but I don't know. So, after we cut back to the end of the sex scene, they're cleaned up miraculously, and she asks, where were you tonight? You arrived kind of late, because they can't do the phone call thing, because they didn't do that here. And so then the killer shows up and stabs him, but because we didn't include Gail as part of the main story and everything else, can't really, the killer comes down. So, by now you'd probably figured out that the killers are Bobby and Ray, because they are the Billy and Stu syndrome. So the killer that came upstairs and attacked him was Ray. But how did he get downstairs? Because there's not a double stairway like there is in Scream. But Ray is downstairs. He's got a bandage in his left ear and can somehow hear perfectly. So he's like, surprise! Surprise, Cindy. I want to call her Cindy. I don't know. Cindy. So they're and they're not trying to do anything because they're not killers. They're not killers. No. Oh, by the way, Shorty gets shot because he's Randy. So he gets shot. But he dies with a joke that there's pot smoke coming out of his lungs. You're something along. You can't breathe. How are you doing that? I don't know. It's a spoof movie. I bring too much logic into this, but I'm just saying. I'm critiquing the movie. That's what I'm supposed to do, right? Right? Anyway, they're not the killers. They're just going to kill her and her dad and Shorty, but that was never planned. So, yeah. And so, why are they doing this? Well, Bobby's gay. Which means he's not attracted to women, and therefore would not get a boner for Cindy. Therefore, that sex scene would never happen. I don't know. And Ray's gay too, but no, he doesn't admit that. He's like, no, I ain't gay. He's like, what? We made love. No, you just sucked my... And she cuts him off. And so they do the thing. Get up. Come on. Get up. And then you get the stab. And this is when... It's like, you watch too much TV. No, TV shows don't cause killers. Canceling TV shows cause killers. Wayne's Brothers was a good fucking show, man. And they canceled it. They didn't get a final episode or anything. And that is the truth. Wayne's Brothers was a good damn show. Got no final episode. I watched the final episode of Wayne's Brothers. It's not a final episode. It just ends. They did that. They canceled it. 6 seasons? 5 or 6 seasons, they canceled it. It was on WB. And they canceled it. So they got a point. They aired their grievances in this movie. And they got a point with that. But then the real killer shows up and kills Ray. Stabbing him. Bobby was already bleeding out because he got stabbed a bunch of times. And Ray lands on Bobby. Bobby's keeled over with his ass in the air. He lands on Bobby like he's spooning him. And then we have another chase around. And I'm like, really? We're doing another chase? We gotta do the Matrix thing and a fight. And the one earlier is the one where he's like, you know where I am? Yeah, you're behind the couch. I'm in the house. You're behind the couch. Oh, crap. Hold on. Just hide underneath the thing. That one. But this one is like the Matrix thing and all the fighting. She knocks him out the window. They go outside. They do this gag with the dad where he's selling drugs. So when the cops show up, it's like, they killed all my friends. And the son of a bitch buried drugs on them. Plenty of drugs all over the place too. And so they take off. So if Bobby and Ray aren't the killers, and if you're wondering, yeah, his name is Ray, but he's not the Freddie Prinze Jr. character. His name is just Ray. They just used the name, I guess. So, who's the killer? Well, they go back to the police station. This goes on. Usually it would end there, but it goes on to back to the police station. Because we're going to reveal who the killer is. And it becomes a little obvious. Doofy walks in. He hands the file, and they said the guy that they ran over, his name is David Keegan. His body was found a few weeks later. And it was buried in Lakeview Cemetery. But as Doofy leaves, he goes, Bison. And he has that look on his face. Like, what's going on? So, look on his face, like something's going on. And she starts to think about it. It was someone connected to everyone else. And Buffy mentions that Doofy had a crush on Drew. You know, Carmen Electra's character from the beginning. And he has a connection. And he even says, it's me, Sind, at one point. She realizes it's Doofy. They do the thing. It is verbatim the ending to The Usual Suspects. Now, I myself have never seen The Usual Suspects, but the ending is so infamous that everyone knows it, especially when they copied it for this. If you don't know, spoiler alert for The Unusual Suspects in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In that movie, they are looking for a serial killer or criminal named Kaiser Soze. At the end of the film, they let everyone go, and it's revealed that Verbal Kit, Kevin Spacey's character, is Kaiser Soze. And his limp goes away, he acts to it, and he lights a cigarette, and he walks off. And they do a thing where the cop drops the coffee cup. So she drops the coffee cup, there's a goldfish in it for some reason, not a cracker, an actual goldfish flopping around. It says Doofus on the Doofus something, Doofus porcelain on the cup. on the mug when it breaks. So it's Doofy, and they're like, "Where'd he go? He went outside." And you see the limp, and the limp goes away, and his hair is already slicked back for somehow. Takes the mustache off, lights the cigarette, and he's jumps in the car with Gale, who I guess knew that he was probably the last time we saw Gale. She was doing a Blair Witch parody, where the snot coming out of her nose. He let her go because he knew. I don't know. They drive off, and then he throws the backpack out of the car as they drive off. They go in there, they find the knife and the mask. By the way, I forgot to mention this. When they do the thing from Scream where Bobby comes through the window and the cell phone drops, they also drop the knife and the mask. That's too much. I'm sorry. It's supposed to be funny, but it's not funny. So Cindy screams, "No!" It goes on a little too long and she gets hit by a car. So everybody's dead, right? How is there a sequel? How is there a sequel? Right? Well, there is, and 4 of the characters from this movie come back. They say they're survivors of the Stevenson County Massacre, but they all died. Brenda, we're not even talking about Brenda yet. I don't know. I don't know, but it's a spook movie. It's not supposed to make sense, right? I'm gonna say that this movie is pretty good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. More than I usually do. But again, it's not one of my favorites because it just takes the 2 plots of Scream and After Did Last Summer and mushes it together with a few other parody stuff, adds some jokes in there, and that's basically what it is, right? The ending to The Usual Suspects, that sort of thing. But it works to a certain point. Now, I think like I said, I watched 2, 3, and 4 more. So I think I might enjoy those better, but I don't know. So, what are your thoughts on Scary Movie? I'm going to come slow. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.